Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am doing another reaction video today. We're going to look at American foods that are banned in other countries. Now, I know we got some stuff that's not healthy for you. I'm not in the best of health myself, and I've been, making food at home. I've been fasting. Um, anyway, I've been fasting 23 hours a day, every single day. The only thing that I eat is dinner, and I make a pizza from scratch. I make the dough myself from scratch, and we know what ingredients we're putting on it. And this is like the best diet ever, and the reason why I'm losing weight eating pizza every day is because of the 23-hour fast, and it's been working. And that means also that I'm not eating as much junk food that I used to, like fast food and stuff like that. I used to be out there daily eating fast food. I'd get some Taco Bell, some Little Caesars, some Burger King, McDonald's, you name it, I'd get it. And the only thing I really haven't kicked yet is the Mountain Dew. I've tried. It's really hard. I've kicked it a little bit, and then it would come back. It would make a comeback. So it'll be interesting to look at what's banned in other countries and why. I know that some of these, like Skittles, some of these junk food items that we have contain like micro metals and stuff in them. And we basically banned them from our house. So, let's take a look.
Most Americans want to believe that the United States is the gold standard of clean food. But that belief may not hold up to scrutiny. From unsanitary practices in mass production to the addition of dangerous chemicals, countries have good reason to give the side eye to imported foods claiming to be USDA approved. That's right. This week we're talking about American foods that have been banned by other countries. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. Then leave a comment and tell us what other world food facts you would like to know more about. Now let's see how wrong the rest of the world really is. Since the dawn of Skittles, there have been rumors about the dangers of eating them. Every one of us heard at least one classmate claim that the red ones make you sterile, and the yellow ones, they give you cancer. Turns out, it might be worse than that. First of all, your classmate wasn't wrong. The dyes known as Yellow 5 and Yellow 6 have been linked to hives and hyperactivity in children. Sweden and Norway have banned the candies out of concern. The European Union will most likely be banning Skittles at the end of the year, having already swapped out some of the dye for more natural flavors. This is because of something called titanium dioxide, which can be found making the colors pop across the rainbow. Research linked titanium dioxide to damaged DNA, which can lead to cancer. While Europe may be ahead of the Skittles awareness curve, America is quickly catching up. In May of 2021, the Environmental Working Group asked the FDA to categorize titanium dioxide as toxic. And yes, before you ask, right now the FDA says it's okay to consume some of that chemical compound.
Let me tell you about the FDA. In America, nobody trusts them. We don't know why they continue to exist. They should be shut down. They say things that are safe for you that clearly are going to kill you. And that's because, you can only assume they want you dead. That's it. So nobody trusts the FDA in America, and you all probably don't trust it from what you've heard. And you'd be right. Nobody trusts them here. So
can taste the rainbow, but just in moderation. California is home to an ongoing lawsuit against Mars Inc., the parent company of Skittles. The lawsuit claims Skittles are not only toxic, but are unfit for human consumption. So maybe for now, play it safe. Just go have some Swedish fish instead.
They're damn good, but not good. Red. I can't believe bread is on here.
Ever looked at a piece of crusty French baguette, be it in cartoon or in real life, but let's be honest, it was probably in the hands of Pepe Le Pew, and think, I can't make a sandwich with that? As great as we talk about the invention of sliced bread, a lot of European countries have actually banned much of what you'd find on America's wide grocer shelves. That's because we make a lot of our bread not just with grain, but with a variety snap packs worth of additives, like azodicarbonamide, for example, which helps bleach flour and strengthen dough. Fun fact about azodicarbonamide, it's also used in a spectrum of industrial products, including yoga mats. Downward dogs. The European...
I mean, that's kind of concerning because we use flour for our pizza. And I know there's alternatives because, we're going to be doing them. It's just that we haven't implemented yet. But you can use like ingredients that are specifically keto friendly that for pizza crust. So that's something we're going to be heading into. But for now, I mean, we use flour, a little bit of sugar and yeast and some baking powder and some seasonings. That's pretty much the dough. But the flour is the worst part. Now, we already knew that, but we didn't know why. It's eye-opening right there.
The Union is really against the idea of its citizens eating yoga mat material and has banned their use in food products. Pork, the other white meat, is a staple of American meats, along with chicken, fish, and beef. From bacon to ham, hot dogs to pork chops. American meat eaters consume about 67 pounds of pig per person every year.
You're not going to tell me bacon is bad.
My heart is stopping. Don't get us wrong. Other nations indulge in swine just as much, if not more, than Americans. So why doesn't the U.S. export scores of succulent bacon-bearing boars? Well, it turns out America adds a lot of chemicals during processing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Ractopamine in particular is used in many pig farms to raise porkier porkers. Ractopamine, which we put a dash of in a lot of foods, has been banned in 160 countries, which all consider the drug unsafe for human consumption.
Yeah, believe it or not, Americans aren't stupid. What they want to make you think is we are, but we already know that these various antibiotics and stuff that they pump into these animals are there just to fatten them up and to make people unhealthy. And control the population. So that's why you see a lot of us who are always after organic, all natural, GMO-free stuff. And that's, so this is a little inaccurate. There's a lot of stuff out there that they pump into these animals, but a lot of Americans avoid them. And they've got to be losing money on those things for the other stuff that's all natural. But they just keep pumping it out, and it's probably government funded, which is really taxpayer funded. So we're paying for them to poison us. Because they provide these farms that do this, some subsidies, which are tax incentives to produce this poison. So you just got to avoid them.
Turn has led to a prohibition of pork exports across the world. The EU hasn't touched the stuff since outlawing ractopamine in 2009. China and Russia have been ractopamine-less since 2013. Maybe that's because ractopamine has the same effects as an intoxicant on humans and can cause tachycardia, headaches, and muscle spasms if consumed in large enough quantities. But it is a small price to pay for a perfect piece of the pork.
Chicken, same thing. Pump it with chemicals.
Hygiene in America often comes down to dousing stuff in a chlorine bath and calling it FDA approved.
Yeah.
And chicken is no exception. Pathogen reduction treatments, or PRTs, refer to the use of different chemicals to destroy harmful microbes on raw meat. Somewhere along the line, American food regulators decided a quick chlorine shock was the best way to kill salmonella and other bacteria on uncooked poultry. Chlorine marinade. And look, it's not that the EU is against taking a long gulp from the public pool now and then. In fact, the risks posed by chlorine consumption are relatively low. The bigger concern is that the chlorine baths are just an eye-burning Band-Aid on a larger problem. The tip of the beak, so to speak. They're worried that the PRTs are insufficient to deal with more than just the normal bacteria and don't get at a potential contamination from things like low-quality feed to unsanitary coops on farms. The EU called the chlorine rinse an easy fix, arguing no chemical rinse will ever remove all bacteria from meat heavily contaminated as a result of poor hygiene. That hurts extra to hear it from the French.
There's some stank-ass people out there. Oh, no, not Mountain Dew. Come on.
Mountain Dew is the closest any soft drink has come to being fully weaponized.
I feel
But
called
did
out
you know
here.
in Austria and Norway, the soda is outright banned? That's because Mountain Dew's signature Chernobyl radiant hue comes from tartrazine, also
All right,
known as
first
yellow.
off, leave the S word, please. All right, there's no reason to use foul language. All right, it's pop. It's pop. Just call it pop.
5. And if your ADHD hasn't kicked in yet, you'll remember that color and number from the Skittles section earlier. It's been linked to headaches, hyperactivity, and the desire to be annoying to other people. Ironically, the qualities that make Mountain Dew a soda non gratis in other countries is exactly what the brand promotes: a frenetic, over-caffeinated lifestyle. Do the do. Bye.
Yeah, they keep saying the S word, and I actually hate every time I hear that word. It's what people say in a lot of places. Depending on where you are in the country, some people say the S word, some people say pop. Okay, you could guess which one I am. And how I look at those other people that say the S word are snobs. Basically, they're stuck up. They probably drink their tea with their finger out. All right, they're snobs. Yeah, it's like a banned word. All right, there's other words. I got a list.
Aha blast. Woo-hoo. And while you might be able to find Mountain Dew in Europe, it's going to hit a little different. That's because Europe spent exactly 2 years in the 90s riding the dew before discontinuing it. What is being sold as Mountain Dew in the EU has a recipe closer to the original carbonated beverage, as created by Tennessee beverage bottlers Barney and Ollie Hartman in the 1940s.
Yeah, I want some
The
of that.
original Mountain Dew was meant as a whiskey mixer, with a name coming from the affectionate Scottish term for moonshine. It'll tickle your innards, is what the old ads used to read. No lies detected here.
I would love some of that.
Mountain Dew.
Oh man, that's commercial. Little Debbie's. Oh, shut up.
Little Debbie has been providing Americans with comfort snack food since the 1960s, with their variety of zebra cakes, star crunches,
love
nutty
those.
bars, fudge rounds, and
No.
cosmic brownies. But their big claim to fame, as anyone who has ever had their lunch packed by a parent can attest, is the Little Debbie Swiss rolls.
Oh, I love
a
those.
mixture of rich chocolate cake and butter creamy filling.
Some of my favorites.
Over 900 million cartons of Little Debbie products are shipped each year, but none of those cartons go anywhere near Austria or Norway. Blame those rascally additives, Yellow
Yeah.
5 and Red 40. Swiss rolls contain 32 milligrams of dye per product, and in those quantities, they've been shown to have an adverse effect on children. And we're not just talking about causing hyperactivity, although one study found that cutting all artificial food coloring from diets may be 1/2 as effective as prescribing kids Ritalin. And while we can't prove there's a direct connection between artificial food coloring and cancer, they do cause damage to white blood cells, causing them to mutate.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We've been trying to, in this household, learn how to source your own products. Like, because the manufacturing industry just took off and made things convenient, and just did away with health. So we've been learning how to source our own foods, like from the bare ground up, so that we can make popular foods that are from fast food joints or candies or etc. with healthy ingredients from scratch. So like you can grow your own this and that and harvest it. You learn the process and then make the product without these chemicals that are bad for you in them. So I recommend doing that like we're doing. I spend a lot of time studying this stuff on YouTube even. I got a whole playlist of videos for that, for like homesteading and stuff like that. So
After only 3 hours. Exposure to these dyes could cause tumor cells to multiply way more rapidly. For that reason, researchers say a high chronic intake of food colorings throughout the entire life is not advisable. If only they weren't so delicious.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, you can buy Little Debbie's Swiss rolls in the EU, but they come with warning labels advising parents of the potential dangers to kids. You know, like cigarettes.
Wow, Kellogg's.
When you hear the words banned breakfast cereal, you're probably imagining one of the countless kid-focused brands of sugary morsels, like the oh-so-delicious Cookie Crisp. So you might be surprised to learn that it's actually Special K, the most boring cereal on all of the earth, that has been banned in Denmark and discouraged in the EU.
I believe that.
How
they
does the
disguise things as
healthiest box
healthy.
of flakes on the shelf get
that
banned,
aren't.
while stuff like Reese's Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch continue to enjoy free passage? Ironically, because of its supposed health benefits. In the UK, Special K has been put on blast by the Advertising Standards Authority for exaggerating how much folic acid they pack into portions. Though it's still legal to buy in Europe, Denmark has completely banned Special K since 2004 for all its fortified vitamins and minerals. Regulators argue that Kellogg's cereal's unnaturally high levels of everything from vitamin A to zinc actually qualify Special K as a genetically modified organism, or GMO. More specifically, Special K is swole with the same artificial compounds that studies have shown to potentially pose health risks. Specifically,
I understand the extra compounds, but too much vitamins, that seems a little out there for anyone. I don't see how that would be a GMO, just got too many vitamins. I mean, vitamins are good for you, and if you got too many that your body can't absorb, it just sends them out in the waste. I just don't understand why that would be an issue.
children and pregnant women. In conclusion, you may want to stick with crunch berries.
Steak. Yeah, the
You don't need to
chemicals.
take a transcontinental
Injections.
flight to visit countries that have banned American foods. Just drive up to the Canadian border, flash your passport, and sign an affidavit saying you're not smuggling any steak tartare in your trunk. Today, consuming raw meat has fallen out of fashion in the US, much like other foods like veal and pate, which don't make you sick
I
but might
wouldn't,
make you sad. But
I would
while
never eat
baby
raw
cow
meat.
and overstuffed goose liver is illegal in parts of America now, tartare is not. See, while veal and pate may be uncool, they are also served hot, unlike
All right, that's disgusting. Okay, and now I don't eat beef tartare, all right, or any other. Like I never even tried sushi. Okay, and if I ever do try sushi, it's gonna be cooked. All right, there's no reason to eat raw meat. You might as well just chew on the damn animal.
tartare, which is chopped up cold meat, straight from the cow. Undercooked or raw foods can lead to an increase in food poisoning and parasitic infections, especially in beef and poultry. But considering how fancy pants steak tartare is, Titanic food one might say, you'd think countries might look the other way and let the luxury delicacy slide. And for a long time they did. In Canada, meat has to reach an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit, the equivalent of a medium rare steak, in order to be considered safe to serve. But those rules aren't strictly enforced. That is, until recently. In 2021, restaurant owners in New Brunswick selling steak tartare were all served cease and desist letters. Canadian public health officials had decided that amid the ongoing health crisis of COVID-19, the last thing their citizens needed was a side order of botulism.
Yeah, I guess if you use makeup stuff for your excuses.
Is there anything more American than Coca-Cola? The fizz, the flavor, the former secret ingredient.
Let me tell you something about Coca-Cola. Out of those kind of pops, like those, like between Coke and Pepsi. When I was younger, I'd go to 7-Eleven with my mother. We get a big old fountain pop of Pepsi. Something changed in the taste when I got older. I don't know if they changed the ingredient, the recipe, or whatever. But I did switch to Coke. And for a while, that's what I drank before Mountain Dew took over my life. But that stuff, if you do any research, you can find that it can degrease an engine. So if it's doing that, what is it doing to you? I mean, I've got no right to talk crap about it, drinking as much Mountain Dew as I do.
Cocaine. Coke is basically apple pie in beverage form. And it's not just Americans who are cuckoo for Coke. Invented by a pharmacist in 1886 Georgia, Coca-Cola quickly caught on overseas. It was the World War II GI's drink of choice. Pre-pandemic, Coca-Cola had 500 brands in over 200 countries, making it the best-selling soft drink and one of the most recognizable brands of all time. But there will always be exceptions, and unlike the other entries on the list, for once it has nothing to do with health concerns. Everybody knows that Coke is not good for you. We just decided collectively that we don't care. No, the countries that have outlawed the brand have done so because of what it represents, a symbol of the encroachment of American capitalism. From 1962 to 2011, the U.S. banned sales of Coke to Burma as part of sanctions against the military junta that ruled the country until 2011. It resumed sales in the country in 2012. Today, Coca-Cola is only unavailable in 2 countries with long-term trade embargoes with the U.S. North Korea hasn't allowed Coke since 1950, and the bubbly beverage has been banned in Cuba since Fidel Castro seized supplies in 1962. First the prequels, now Coke. Is there anything that can't be ruined by the federalization of trade taxation? In a twist of irony and lime, Cuba was actually one of the first bottlers of the beverage outside of America. Today, Cuba Cola has replaced Coke as the country's soft drink of choice, though black market sales abound. After all, it is the birthplace of the Cuba Libre, aka the rum and Coke.
M&M's, another thing with the
M&M's, the delicious melt-in-your-mouth, not-in-your-hand snacks, were originally a collaboration between the Scion sons of the Mars and Hershey dynasties in 1941. Like Coca-Cola, M&M's gained international fans during World War II, as American soldiers popularized the candy overseas as the chocolate that won't get your trigger finger all sticky. But you won't find the candy in Sweden, where it's banned due to a trademark conflict with a popular national candy that also features lowercase m's as its signature. When Mars introduced the candy to Sweden in 2009, a court ruled its marketing too similar to that of the Norwegian Marabous, which resemble Kit Kats. During World War I, Marabou had moved its manufacturing to its Swedish neighbors, where it received a royal warrant of appointment by the King of Sweden. And here we thought the Swiss were the chocolate snobs. Should you want to check out what the fuss is all about, Marabou's is sold in IKEA stores here in the U.S. Well, at least it's good to know that M&M's don't contain any harmful dyes or chlorine residue, right? That's a pretty important victory for hard-shelled chocolate. So what do you think? Which of these banned foods sounds the most delicious? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from Weird History Food.
Yeah, you make sure you check out their channel, Weird History Food. I'm going to leave a link in the description with all my reactions to the source that I'm watching. But I'm not surprised about any of those foods, really. At first, I thought they were just going to talk crap about pork, but it's the poisons that they put into it when they're pumping it full of steroids and got to fatten those animals up, right? And they say antibiotics are needed. Well, there's plenty of non-GMO alternative meats out there that the farmers don't do any of that, and the animals come out healthy. Grass-fed and all that stuff. So I'm not surprised. I think the downright lying of the FDA, saying things are safe when they're not, things that are distributed as healthy, like Special K, and of course they know that they're not, but they're targeting people that are trying to stay healthy. So it's basically, there's the people that don't care about healthy stuff. They just want delicious stuff, so they'll eat the junk food. And there's the people that actually go out of their way to get the healthy stuff, who they also want to poison, and just take advantage of that entire market. And then there's only a small subset of people that are really savvy, and they know that you got to look for very specific things, source your own goods, and that's the segment that you want to be in. So anyway, if you enjoyed my reaction and you want to see more of these, make sure you leave a comment, hit the like and subscribe for me, hit the bell notification so you see when the next one comes up. I appreciate it. Thank you.